Good morning. Let us take a moment to establish Mahayana motivation. So we can contemplate how, since beginning LS time, we have been under the influence of our afflictions, our delusions, that make us engage in mundane and non-virtuous activities, thereby creating negative karma. And these karmas propel us to different states of rebirth again and again without any control. We don't have a choice. We can see in our daily experiences. We have no influence or little influence on external events. Constantly we meet with experiences we don't want to meet. At the moment is not so bad. We have this human existence with a lot of freedoms, a lot of endowments. But still we can see that we meet with unpleasant moments and we cannot choose those. We cannot really decide where we are, what we do. And it has been like that from beginningless rebirths. Sometimes taking the appearance of an animal, being born in unfortunate realms, such as a hungry ghost, hellram being, according to the karmas we have created in the past. So far we have not put an end to our afflictions, to our karmas. So again and again we have to take rebirth. Again and again we have to go through the different kinds of suffering. And not only we are in this case, but all sentient beings are in the same case. Constantly taking rebirth due to afflictions and karma. Constantly going through different types of suffering. We can imagine how many beings are born as animals right now. How many are suffering. We can just think of those animals, for example, who are raised for human beings to eat later on. How thousands of them are living in very small spaces, and they can imagine what is coming for them. Before going to the slaughterhouse, they have this feeling. They can smell the fear. You can think of how many beings are in the hungry ghost realms, how many countless beings are in the hell realms, experiencing intense suffering every single moment of their existence. Try to generate a sense of great compassion for them and all sentient beings. Even in the human realm, we can think of all the humans who are less fortunate. Those humans who are experiencing sickness, old age, poverty. All those human beings who are being abused, who are being enslaved, those who are living in difficult conditions. Try to generate a sense of great compassion. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May they be free from karma that they are creating because of their afflictions. May they be free from all their afflictions that are rooted in self-grasping ignorance, apprehending phenomena as being objectively existent, truly existent, inherently, intrinsically existent from their own side. May all sentient beings soon realize the nature of reality, the emptiness of true existence, of reality. I myself will take responsibility. Now I have this precious human rebirth. I have all these leisures, all these endowments. I have met the teachings of the Buddha. I am free to take so many teachings, to receive so many teachings and study, especially in this day and age with internet. All the teachings of His Holiness the Dalai Lama available on YouTube. I will make effort to study, contemplate and meditate to realize those teachings and become a Buddha in order to liberate all sentient beings without leaving none aside, to benefit them, liberate them, guide them up to full enlightenment, full awakening. May I become a Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. With this motivation in mind, we will do a few minutes of single-pointed practice, shamatha, calm abiding meditation. So for that, I'll quickly remind you of the essential instructions. The first one is to look at your posture. Ideally, sit in the 7-point posture of Buddha Vairochana. The two most important points is for your body to be upright and your eyes not to be closed, to be slightly open. The second is the focal object, focal point. So bring your object of meditation to mind. If you don't have an object of meditation that you're familiar with, you can visualize a small dot of white light between your nose and your upper lip, very small, maybe 1 or 2 mm in diameter, and place all your attention there. All your focus is on that tiny dot. And make sure to be fully concentrated on it. Errors will arise during meditation. You will be distracted. The mind will either become excited, thinking about thinking about past, future, or your mind might fall into dullness, into laxity, lethargy, might start dozing off, falling asleep. So the ultimate instruction is to use the antidotes, the remedies to those errors, which are introspection and mindfulness. So constantly your mind should be checking. There should be a part of your mind checking. Am I meditating? Am I concentrated on my object? Introspecting that. And if I notice that I am not concentrated on my object, immediately with mindfulness, I bring back my focus, my attention to my object. Without wasting time, I make the effort to bring the mind back. And with mindfulness, I make sure I don't forget the object anymore, that I stay on the object. And every time it wanders, I make sure that I notice, and immediately when I notice, I bring back the mind to the object. So let's try this for about 5 minutes. Gently come out of the meditation. And as usual, in order to prepare our minds to meditate on the Lamrim, we will engage in practices of purification and accumulation of merit, which is a little bit like fuel for a car to be able to go forward, to be able to have energy in order to realize the points we are meditating on. So we can start by visualizing in front of us Shakyamuni Buddha, surrounded by all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Visualize as well His Holiness the Dalai Lama and all the lamas you have devotion for. And they are looking upon us with immense love, kindness, a bit like a mother looks upon her only child. Around us we can visualize all sentient beings, starting with the mother on the left, father on the right, and we are guiding them into these practices in order to benefit them. So we can read and chant together. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened, to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye Chodam Soge Chonam La Jonjo Bado Dagne Kapsoje Dagi Jinzo Gibe Sognamki Jola Benjo Sangye Jubarai Sho Sangye Chodam Soge Chonam La Jonjo Bado Dagne Kapsoje Dagi Jinzo Gibe Sognamki Jola Benjo Sangye Jubarai Sho. In order to further increase our bodhicitta, we will read also the four immeasurable thoughts. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends and hatred for enemies. Reverently I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind. I present clouds of every type of offering, actual and imagined. I declare all my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in the merit of all holy and ordinary beings. We can take a moment here to rejoice in all the virtuous actions. You can start by thinking of all the deeds of Shakyamuni Buddha, and rejoice in all the enlightened activities of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, all the lamas you have devotion for. You can think of all the virtuous actions of the ordained Sangha, as well as your fellow Dharma practitioners, all good actions, virtuous activities of your loved ones, your family, your friends, as well as the virtuous actions of yourself. And then we continue. Please remain until the end of cyclic existence and turn the wheel of Dharma for living beings. I dedicate my own merits and those of all others to the great enlightenment. This ground, anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, four continents, the sun and the moon, I imagine this as a Buddha field and offer it. May all living beings enjoy this pure land. Idam Guru Radna Mandala Kamyuryatayami. And then in particular, in order to meditate on the Lamrim, we will read a short prayer that contains all the essential points of the Lamrim. It's like a blueprint for us, all the points we need to realize. So we'll read each and every one of these points and seek blessings. Request our gurus to bless our minds to quickly realize those points. So we can read together. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of black and white karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativities, and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Seeking samsaric pleasures is the door to all suffering. They are uncertain and cannot be relied upon. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of the teachings is keeping the pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all modern migratory beings. Please bless me to see this, train in supreme bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop only bodhicitta, but I don't practice the three types of morality, I will not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I have pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the Fortunate Ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the true attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I have become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to take these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages, the essence of the Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who showed a noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stages and the paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. So today we will meditate on the benefits of going for refuge and the commitments that come along with taking refuge in the three jewels. So to remind us of the context, so far we have contemplated that it is very important for us to rely on a teacher to give us instructions, to guide us. It is a long journey to cessation of suffering and to full awakening. We need someone who knows the way, who has already been there, and who is endowed with great love, great knowledge, great power to take us there, to guide us. Now we have this precious human life with so many freedoms, leisures. We have met with the teachings of the Buddha. We're so fortunate. So we have to take this chance. We have to take this opportunity, the opportunity of this life. And we have to do that now because at some point this precious life will come to an end, death will come, and we have no idea when. Death can come anytime, any moment, even today, we don't know. If we knew that we would die in 1 hour, most probably we will spend that 1 hour trying as much as we can to change our minds, to engage in virtue, to purify our minds, to contemplate the teachings of the Buddha, to meditate on love, to meditate on emptiness. So we should do that without wasting any moment. Because when we die, we don't know what is next. We don't know what karma will ripen at the time of death, what karma will propel us to the next rebirth. So we have absolutely no guarantee that we will be able to continue practicing in the next life, studying in the next life. In fact, the chances are quite high that we won't be able to, that we will be propelled due to a negative karma we have accumulated in the past. We will be propelled to a lower rebirth where there is absolutely no opportunity to listen to the teachings, absolutely no opportunity to contemplate on the teachings and to meditate on them. And so we have seen that the three jewels, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, have the power to protect us from these lower rebirths. The Buddha has the guide, the Dharma as the actual refuge, that which liberates. Dharma consisting principally of true cessations, the absence, the elimination of obscurations, the elimination of suffering, and true path, which is basically the wisdom realizing emptiness of objective existence of all phenomena. These two things are the actual refuge to Dharma, that which liberates us, frees us from all our fears, from all our miseries. And then we also take refuge in the Sangha. The Sangha, the actual Sangha, is those who have directly realized the nature of reality. Those Arya beings who have seen the emptiness of objective existence from their own experience. So they are able to support us, they are able to guide us, accompany us. And so by going for refuge in the three jewels, there are 8 benefits. The first one is that we become what is literally translated as an inner being. In English we say Buddhists. When we take refuge, we become a Buddhist. The meaning of that is an inner being, someone who looks inside. Someone who realizes that external factors are unreliable and will not bring about lasting happiness. But by looking inside, we are able to transform our minds, transform the way we apprehend reality, purify, eliminate our delusions, our obscurations. When we go for refuge, we also become qualified to take different levels of vows. For example, the pratimoksha vows, the individual liberation vows. We have the 5 upasaka vows, the 5 vows of a layperson. But as a Buddhist, we are also entitled to take the vows of an ordained person. And with those individual liberation vows, we also become entitled to take the Bodhisattva vows, to actually engage in Bodhisattva practices. And we also become entitled then to take the Tantric vows. When we go for refuge, we reduce and exhaust the obscurations due to the previously accumulated karmas. When we go for refuge, we quickly accumulate a vast amount of merit. And there is nothing magical in those 2 points. The thing is that when we go for refuge, we recognize that the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha have the capacity to guide us, to lead us to happiness, to cessation of suffering, and to full awakening. Therefore, we engage in studies and practices. We engage in virtue. We follow the advice of the teachers. Thereby, we accumulate positive karma. We accumulate merit. And then we don't fall into bad migrations anymore. If we constantly engage in virtue, if we constantly purify our past negative karma, then we won't fall to lower realms. Also, we won't be harmed by obstacles, won't be harmed by other humans or even non-humans. We won't have the karma to experience that. And we attain everything we actually wish for. And swiftly we will attain Buddhahood by taking refuge. Then the Buddha also gave commitments. When we go for refuge, after taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha, we should avoid taking refuge in worldly gods. We should avoid harming any being, either directly or indirectly. And we should avoid entrusting oneself and keeping company with negative friends. Ideally, we should have what we call a Sangha, a group of practitioners to support us, to accompany us. And then we should practice seeing images of the Buddhas, statues, photos, as being actual Buddhas and pay respect to them. We should practice seeing Dharma text as being the actual sublime Dharma and treating them respectively, not putting them on the floor, not stepping on them, not traveling with them with our dirty clothes or shoes, but wrapping them separately, taking care of them, respecting them. And we should regard even one member of the Sangha as being the actual Sangha. Any monk or nun, we should see them as Arya beings having direct realization of emptiness, and treat all members of the Sangha community, even their robes, with respect. And the Buddha also gives a general advice after taking refuge. In general, there are 4 points to the practice of Dharma. First one is that we should rely upon holy beings, listen to the holy Dharma, and after correctly comprehending, follow the teachings and practice them, contemplate and meditate. We should not let our senses become excited. That is, we should control our senses when in the danger of creating negative karma, and take as many vows as we are capable of keeping. We should have a compassionate attitude towards sentient beings. And finally, when we eat or drink, we should offer the first portion to the three jewels. Before we eat, we offer our meals to the three jewels. It's a way to remember our refuge throughout the day. Also, it is good in the morning and evening to make three prostrations to the triple gem and to take refuge, generate bodhicitta 3 times in the morning and in the evening by reciting the refuge and bodhicitta prayer that we did at the beginning. So take a short moment to think about all the 8 benefits we mentioned, going for refuge, and the commitments and general advice that the Buddha has given for those who have taken refuge. And then we can dedicate the merits that we have accumulated today by contemplating the Lamrim, the merits we have accumulated in the 3 times, the merits accumulated by the 3 times Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and all sentient beings. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the supreme jewel bodhicitta, that has not arisen, arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish, but increase forevermore. We can also dedicate so that His Holiness the Dalai Lama and all our holy virtuous friends have long and healthy lives, so that they may be able to continue to teach us the Dharma for a very long time until we all achieve a state free from sorrow and a state of perfect happiness for the awakening. We can also pray for the swift return of Kebje Lama Zopa Rinpoche. We can pray so that there may be no wars, no famines, no epidemics, no natural disasters, so that peace and harmony may prevail. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a beautiful day. See you soon.